Hey, what's up, everybody? Rob Marzullo here, Ram Studio Comics. Welcome back. This is live stream episode number 5, and I'll wait for some people to kind of start joining in, and I'll just kind of do some warm up drawing like I like to do, just to get the gears turning. So, I don't know if anybody knows this is Logan. It's kind of a rough sketch. Yeah. So what can I practice here while I'm waiting for some people to jump on in? Poses are always good. I guess I'll start there. So, yep, can't believe we're already to live stream numero 5. Time's flying. And hopefully I'll be able to keep up with these one a week. That's the goal anyways. But we'll see how that goes. You know, life's got a way of getting in the way of stuff like that at times. So we'll see how long we can keep this thing going. And also, if you're watching, I need to get more feedback on what type of episodes you guys would like to see in a live stream. So be sure to let me know there. It always helps me to, go into the next one with some information. So I like to warm up like this and just scribble, just do a little bit of everything, maybe draw some eyes, draw some poses, just whatever. Just a good way to warm up and loosen up before I start drawing on the comic or whatever I'm planning on doing that day. Hello, Nova Sama. I hope I'm getting that right. How you doing? Good to have you. Hey, you're like the first one here. Kudos to that. And I was thinking about, as far as the topic today, you guys can let me know as you come on in. I was thinking like maybe showing some digital painting techniques today, but you guys got any ideas for what you'd like to see in this live stream? Okay, got it. Just Nova. Yeah, good to have you, Nova. Glad you could make it this time. Appreciate that. So, what would you guys like to see? Would you prefer just doing some drawings, some rendering? Do you want to see some paint work in Manga Studio here? What topic would you like to see covered today? And until we start getting some responses there, I'll just keep scribbling. So yeah, I guess I should just talk about random things while we're doing this. So this has been a big week in the life of Ram Studios, and I'm basically. Oh, let me check this comment real quick. Thinking these live streams are always good to put on while I'm drawing and working on a commission. Oh, glad to hear it, Richard. Appreciate you stopping in. And Chief Anator says, "Let's get this party started." Nice. Yeah, let's do it. Indeed. Um, yeah. And you guys let me know what you'd like to see drawn. I'm just kind of doodling here. Um, so this has been a big week because I basically have just shut down a business that I've been running for 15 years, and it was a graphics business where I made signs and graphics for people, and it was a big decision. And it was kind of gut wrenching in some ways, but it was liberating in others. And I did it to pursue the art, to spend more time creating comics, creating art, storyboards, what have you, and just getting. I'm gonna scrap this one. This one's pretty bad. Getting more into doing the artwork. So that's what's been going on in my world, and it's been a bit, scary, but exciting, because it's like I'm finally going to pursue more what I set out to do. I actually started the graphics business to do artwork, and the more and more I got into it, it turned into, a business, and like businesses do, and it was less about the art, more about, just making money with signs, graphics, and things like that. And I did less and less drawing, which really bothered me. It's one of the reasons why I started the YouTube channel a few years ago. So I just want to give you guys a little bit of background about what's going on with Ram Studios and myself. So let's see. Some painting techniques or rendering would be nice. I second the request. What's up, Rick? Good to see you. Okay, so does that sound good for the most part? We'll do some painting. I could even show you how I could convert. This is supposed to be Logan over here, if you guys haven't noticed. And I could show you how I could convert that to a bit of a painting. Does that sound like a good idea? Or do you want me to just go straight to paint and try something else? Do you do animal heads like lizards and dinos? Yeah, not well. I mean, I could definitely try. A good artist to reference that would be Chris Scalf. You can check out his channel on YouTube here. He does some great dinosaurs and dragons and lizards and all the reptilian stuff. Robert said in a comment some time ago that you would be. Yeah, we could do it in grayscale, Rick, if you want. Okay, so I'll go ahead and do that. I'll convert this this drawing right here to some paint work. I'll show you how I'd go about doing that anyways. So one of the ways that I do it, or majority of the ways, of the times that I do it, I want to get a base fill on whatever I'm painting. So what I do to do that is I'll draw some kind of perimeter line work to create a selection from. It doesn't have to be perfect, because you're always going to be editing your paintings. If you do want it more perfect, actually I'll show you. If you want it to be a little more perfect, use the G pen, because it's going to give you a better selection. Also based on the setting right here for anti-aliasing for the edge. So really want a nice hard edge like this one, but it's not going to matter for what I'm doing. So what I do here is I'll go around and just kind of define an edge to my painting. I'll usually kind of look at this in two ways. I'm going to define the edge of what I'm going to paint, and I also kind of clean the artwork up one last time. So I might throw in like a little bit of, shape to the beard here or whatever. I don't even know if Logan has a beard, but in this particular painting, he does. So I'll do something like this. Hold space bar so I can move the screen around. It doesn't have to be perfect. You're still editing your work, even at this stage, but I'll just do something like that to give me an initial base effect to start with. I'll select with the magic wand over here. I'll invert selection here. Then I'll shrink the selection right here, about 1 pixel. And all you really want is you want it to drop behind that line just a little bit. It's not a huge concern, but just a little bit right there. I'll add a new layer. Drop that back here. Let's see, drop in a flood fill. Now, the way I determine my flood fill usually is just like whatever is most predominant in the shot. So in this case, it's probably going to be a skin tone. So we'll pick like, let me get my color wheel here. And let's pick something as a base color, something in the medium, a little less saturated. Something like this. Whatever. And then, and don't hit that button. Go back to layers and go back to this and click off this so it turns it back from a blue line to our line work. And this is predominantly how I set up any of my paintings because it's just like, to me, it's a little bit easier to work this way. And let's see. Just trying to look at some of the comments there. Okay, so yeah, so I set it up like this, and then basically I can take and go. I can either start painting away and use the line work as a reference to the paint. But a lot of times what I'll do, I'll duplicate this layer right here, and I'll actually just start blending this into the initial base color right here. So one of the ways I can do is just hit Command E, merge it right down, Command D to deselect. I'll lock transparent pixels right here. I think that's called lock transparency. Yeah. And I'll just start smudging and painting away. So basically the way I like to look at it like this is that the line work gives me my starting definition, and I obviously don't want to keep all of it because this isn't going to be a shaded drawing as much as it's going to be kind of paint work. So I'll just start to blend some of that off with the smudge brush. And then as I do that, I'll just kind of keep reshaping it as I go here. So I'll blend a lot of this out. I'll get rid of that initial line work right there so it doesn't interfere. And oh, you know what? Let me see here. Yeah, you know what? I did something wrong here. Let me go back to the selection. I'm going to merge this in because that actually gave us part of our shape. So I'm going to merge that in as well. And then I'll go ahead and continue. All right, yeah, I was seeing some funky shape there in the edge, and that's why, because it was actually part of the shape that I defined. So it's not perfect, but then I'll just get in here with the hard eraser as I go. I'll kind of chisel parts out like this. I don't like this big funky shadow right there. And I'll just take the hard erase and just kind of edit the perimeter of the line work or whatever a little bit. And go back to smudging. All right, just trying to look at the comments there as I work. Okay, so now basically what I do here is just use this as my base shadows. So I'm just taking that initial line work and using it to kind of tone that other color that I put down. And obviously this is just the very starting point because, you're not going to have just a couple colors and skin tone. I found that if you don't add at least 3, it'll look really weak, and then really for it to look good, sometimes up to 5. So, and who knows, probably more than that. I mean, a good way to figure out what skin tones really look like is take them into one of these programs and hold Alt and glide over a photo. You'd be amazed at how many different colors you see in there. I mean, sometimes even purples and reds will pop up, and you just don't see that kind of with the naked eye until you start to edit that work. You'll start to learn more about it and then realize, man, there's a lot of different colors and skin tone, and that's why it's so hard to capture. Okay, so let me throw some different coloring in here and make this look a little bit more realistic or whatever. So I'll grab something in a reddish brown. I'll try to maybe start lighter. Let's see what I'm on the wrong brush here. Let's go to stronger, normal, or overlay. That's probably too reddish. Let's go back over to the color wheel here. Let's get something in here. So what I want to do is just try to liven up his skin tone. It looks very, plain and boring and unlifelike. So I'll get some other, little bit of a more saturated or warmer color in there. And something more into the red for, it's always good to take like a reddish brown or somewhere in here and hit just a little bit like in the nose, the cheek, Just a little bit in the lips, not too much, and around the eyes. Basically, the way that I was explained to is that, or it was explained to me, is the areas where the skin is just a bit thinner. So just little bits of that, and again, it just makes the character look a little bit more lively. Okay, and what color is his hair? It's like a dark, is it a dark brown? It is, right? It's a dark brown. I always see him drawn different ways where it looks like a bluish or a dark brown. So anybody let me know what they see when they see Logan's hair there. I'll just go with the dark brown because I'm thinking more like the actor or something. Yeah, yeah, I know it's always like a bluish black in comics. But I don't think I've ever seen a whole lot of people with bluish black hair, aside from it being dyed or whatever. Let me try a darker brown like this, and then I'll just add to it. So you can really start with anything as a base color anyways. Oftentimes it's good to like mix up a few colors, and as you're painting, the paintings always tend to look a bit more depthy anyways. So I'll just kind of haphazardly throw this stuff in there just to get some texture going. Yeah, that's definitely too brown, but I'll fix that here in a bit. Yeah, let's go way darker. It hasn't been doing that great on Kablam, or what do they call it, Indie Planet. It's been doing better on Gumroad actually. So what I'll do is I'll promote. Oh, I'm sorry. Somebody just asked me how the comic was doing on Kablam. For the people that don't get to see the comments section or whatever. So yeah, at any rate, it's actually been doing better on Gumroad. Not that I've sold a lot either way. I've sold probably 50 or something. I don't know where I'm at. I'd have to look, but it's still nice. It's a compliment every time one of the books sell. And I kind of look at it like the longer I'm at it, the more following I'll get. So in terms of those numbers will grow. And as I release the other episodes, people will go back and want to grab book one. So I don't base everything right now on what it's doing as far as my level of or my condition of success or whatever. I look at it as an ongoing pursuit, and all the things that I'm doing will ultimately maybe lead back to that book at some point. So I'm pretty happy with just the mediocre sales that I get or whatever. So I'm always appreciative of when people buy that. But yeah, so at any rate, it does better on Gumroad than it does on Kablam or Indie Planet. But thanks for asking. I appreciate the question. So yeah, so I start off like trying to get as much texture in areas like this. Obviously it looks really messy in that. But then what I do is I just slowly start to paint back and forth. So I'll grab like the highlight brush, which is right here, and I'll grab one of these colors. I could even grab like say the skin tone, because the highlight brush just basically like as it sounds, it just basically punches up a light source. So you really don't have to have a specific color. You can just use the same version of a color you're highlighting. I've seen it work that way pretty well. Here I've got the skin tone color just because if I want to bring out that brown look, I think this kind of matches. So I can get in there and just kind of punch up a little bit of light source maybe on the front of the the big hair that he's got. But I really just kind of go back and forth to try to, try to figure it out. And same thing, I'll grab like the color for the skin tone with the highlight brush, and I'll just get in there and punch up just a little bit of the highlights on the face, something like this. So I just slowly try to round out the form. I just go back and forth as I do that because it's real easy to kind of overdo it. So I'll do a little bit with the highlight brush, and then I'll go back with the regular painting, maybe even like the smooth watercolor, and I'll sample colors that are already down in the painting and just kind of move it around a bit. Alright, so let's see here. And I always have a tricky part like right here. And then I got to figure out like, alright, the shadow colors. Probably something more like down into here. Let's try something like this. Let's see. Chief Editor says, yeah, bro, that's the joys of capitalism. So, Rob, have you ever thought about doing a little merchandise like the Blackstone t-shirts and Kings? I don't know what Kings is. I've done some Blackstone shirts. I've sold them at like comic conventions and things like that. I don't know about the whole digital world, how you really go about doing that, or like print on demand type shirts, if that's what you're mentioning. I probably should. I'll probably be looking into a lot of other things now that I've effectively have shut down my shop and I'm really pursuing the art thing. I'm gonna have to really get, aggressive and figure out like how can I really, make a buck in the world of comics and drawing and teaching people how to draw and things like that. So, that's why I've been having to self-promote on my channel a little bit more than I would normally do. But yeah, it's a good idea. What do you recommend? Have you tried any of that yourself? Yeah, and I see Alien POD saying he went out of business. So I don't think he'll try that again. I actually, my business was more a different operation altogether. It was a walk-in turnkey operation where people would just come in and I'd make stuff for them. I got away from that because it's so time intensive and just had a little boy and stuff. So I wanted to figure out a way to work from home and spend more time with my little guy and things. So that's really why I shifted gears on that whole deal. And I just wasn't using my art enough. Like, and the only way you get great at this stuff is to do it day in and day out. It's just the only way, you can get better by doing it at nights and practicing and things like that. And you will get better. But I don't want to get better. I want to get over, at some point I want to get great at it. So that's why I really just decided to go for it and dedicate instead of slowly lose that to just being a shop owner, which is what I felt myself doing. Advice that I would give to aspiring comic artists. Really just lots of practice, lots of networking, and mainly, I guess the biggest thing that I try to tell everybody, and that I really believe wholeheartedly, is just start producing a book, whether it be a book with your buddies, on your own, like whatever you got to do. But it's the most important thing. Even if it's a zine or a smaller book, it's fine. It just allows you to see what all goes into it, really get your feet wet, really understand the process. And the first thing any bigger company will ask you is like, what have you worked on? They're not going to just, I think a lot of people assume that you can just get your art looking really good and you can show it to Marvel and DC and they'll hire you. And I've never really heard of that happening. I mean, I'm not saying it hasn't happened. Most people, I would say 99% of any artist that's been hired by those big companies were already published elsewhere. Just because you learn so much in that process, and that's what they need to know. They need to know that you can perform. You can do all that goes into a book, and it's not just drawing cool pinups. It's drawing any number of things at any given time. So it's very important to just start working on something. Let me see another comment here. I meant key rings. Yep, got that. Um, you could always do some at conventions in their artist alley. Sell some prints and your Blackstone comics. I would love to be able to do that personally. Yeah, I do conventions. I don't sell a lot of books there, but I do sell some, and it is a great time. And the thing that's kind of neat about the conventions, I just talked about this in a video a couple back, is that you meet so many other people and you get so inspired and motivated. So you end up doing this convention and you come back with like this fire burning to really produce some stuff. So that's probably my biggest thing of why I say it's so important to do conventions and why I'm trying to do more. I just did Motor City this year, and I'm actually going to add, hoping to add, like, I really used to enjoy doing the Toronto Comic Con. I don't know what it's called now, but that convention, Chicago Con, which back in the day was called Wizard Con, or was at least put on by Wizard. So I got to kind of refamiliarize myself with all those venues. But yeah, they're exceptional, and they're must do in my opinion to really get in the industry. You gotta rub elbows with those people. You gotta know what people are up to and what's working for them and what's not. And I think conventions all around are a great way to do that. And forgive me, guys, if I can't read every comment. It's hard to kind of read them and then come back to the drawing here. So I probably will miss a couple as we go here. Let's see. What am I missing here? It's got brown eyes, probably, right? Probably white back here. So yeah, just kind of, whenever I paint something like this, I just kind of pinball around. And I don't always get these right off the start. Some of my paintings will actually look pretty rough, and I'll just kind of keep going and change things, and then I'll like try to find reference if I just can't get it. Like I'm like, okay, wait a second, something's not right here. I can't get the highlights on the face right. That's what's kind of funny about doing paintings, versus drawing comics or whatever, is you can really pull photo reference of anybody. Say you see a profile of, I don't know, a little old lady, for instance, and the shadows are really cool on her face. You can actually just pull those shadows and then make it work on a character's face like this. It doesn't have to be. I guess what I'm saying is don't spend all your time looking for good photo reference of a guy that looks like Logan or what you would perceive Logan is looking like, and the right shadows and the right skin tone. You don't got to do all that. You can just kind of look for one particular thing and then incorporate that into your work. So if you do that, you in turn, I think you end up stylizing it more anyways, which is good for your art style. So, yeah, hopefully that came through what I was trying to explain there. Yeah, true. You do have Hugh Jackman for, yeah, I know. That's another thing. You can just pull reference of Hugh Jackman, and I'm sure you're going to be able to find every imaginable picture anyways. So yeah, that is the benefit of that. I know that's kind of one of the reasons why I like pulling a certain character whether it be a model or actor or whatever, and kind of using them as a loose description or basis of a character that I do, because you can study that person, and there's lots of great photography shots, model shots, or whatever they're doing, because there's so much in the public eye. So it makes for good sense for reference. You don't have to draw them verbatim. You can really stylize it through the process. Let's see. Do you prefer painting the skin on one layer opposed to splitting it up into base layer, shadow layer, etc.? Yeah, I do. This is the way that I do it. I put as much down on the initial layer as I can. And then once I can't do any more, where I feel like I'm just running out of options, that's when I add layers. For the most part. I'm not saying that happens every time. If it's a type of painting where it's easier, I'll try to do everything, like this is mainly skin tone, mainly hair. I'll try to do everything on one layer. The only reason why I don't like adding shadows and, like you said, shadows, highlights, all that on separate layers, is because I feel like I kind of lose track, and then I get mixed up over here in the layers section, and I lose time. But other than that, there are some benefits to it, because if you just keep sitting here and blending and smudging around, you sometimes get a little bit of a mucky effect going, where adding the layers will kind of help you control that sometimes. So I guess it's just subjective to what you're doing that day and that piece and things like that. Yeah, this is Logan. I see somebody, I thought it was Logan, but yeah, this is Logan. Um, and you could pull people from UFC or something. Yeah, actually, I use UFC for like fight shots. If you're ever drawing a fight pose, man, it doesn't get much better than just looking at UFC shots, because they're so dynamic and they're real. So you're getting really what a fight looks like. Because I used to get mad. I'd study boxing poses, but it's so one-sided kind of thing. There's not enough there going on in boxing. You need almost like street fights or UFC, where you're getting like a bunch of mixed martial arts and a combination of movements. So now that we got UFC, it's pretty easy to reference your fight poses, and some of those shots are just darn near perfect for comics. You just have to stylize them a bit more. Give them a cigar. All right, yeah, I'll throw that in there for sure. It's a good idea. Yeah, so if you notice, I'm pretty much just smudging away all my line work. That's why a lot of times when I do a painting like this, I don't refine the line work too much, just because I know I'm going to destroy it in the sake of painting anyways. Unless I'm doing a comic book painted style where I mix the two. But yeah, so I just basically smudge it out. Yeah, one of the things that really drew me to Manga Studio was a smudge brush. I'm like, man, this thing is like, smudge is just the way that I would want something to smudge out, and it doesn't lag. Like, I don't know why. I don't know why some brushes lag and others don't. I got a pretty souped up system. At least it was a few years ago. It's still pretty strong. So when something lags, I get pretty ticked, because it's like, man, I don't have like a little cheap throw together system, and it shouldn't be lagging. But the smudge brush on this particular program just works really well. You got to size it up pretty big. I don't think I've ever seen it lag, to tell you the truth, but I'm sure at some point it does. Yeah, is this okay though, everybody? You digging like the painting part? I could switch to drawing too. I just thought that maybe so that every live stream wasn't the same. What happened there? That I would do some paint work. Give these a little bit of variation. Are you guys okay with that? Anybody? Is anybody out there? Hello, 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 hello. I feel like I'm talking to myself on these things. It's really tough to get used to. I bet we get to 30 in the next 20 minutes. What? I don't get it. Bet we get to 30. 30 watching, is that what you're saying? Can you do a comic style coloring? Yeah, I'd have to throw together some artwork real quick, but I could show you the comic style coloring really fast. It wouldn't take long. Get rid of these lines because I just accidentally colored them. So is that what you guys want me to do? Switch to some draw me. Do you want me to switch to some comic coloring, you guys and gals? I don't know if there's any gals here, but you never know. Oh, sorry to hear that, Alien POD. Saying you smudged your drawing out and it ruined it? How did you ruin it? Digital drawing? You didn't save enough undos or something? You know, the best thing to do whenever you're going to try something new like that is just always make a layered copy. Let's see. Yes, comic coloring would be helpful. Okay, yeah, we'll switch to that then. So this isn't a full painting, but hopefully it gives you an idea. You just keep going from here, and then all you do is like add. Back to the thing on adding layers. If I want to test out some shadows on this, I can grab a new layer. I can sample the darker tone somewhere in there. Go back to my color wheel, darken it up, either saturated or desaturated, whatever. I think saturated. And then, so the beauty of doing it this way is you can kind of test some of your effects with the shadows. And a lot of times I'll block things in kind of solid, like this. So maybe I want to define more of the shadow under the nose, under the lip, whatever. I'll just kind of play around with it and see what might look alright. Some of this behind this neck muscle here, under the ear. And I'll just try to define, a little bit more of the shadow and bring out the shapes a little bit more. And then I'll play with the layer opacity. So the real benefit of like doing stuff like this is you can throw it in there real quick and then play with the opacity, and you can also add some soft erase effects. So grab like the soft airbrush and just slowly blend out some of the edges here and there. Shadows always look a little bit more natural when you have some hard edge, some soft edge. So this is a good way to kind of throw in your shadows and then just play around with them a bit and then merge them down. So I just wanted to address that real quick because somebody mentioned, when do you use layers? That's pretty much how I would incorporate layers into my painting process. Okay, so now, yeah, you guys are keeping track of the people. I know I thought for sure we'd get more than like 30, 40 people on these things, but whatever. I'm not going to be too concerned with the numbers in that regard, I guess. It's not about that, right? It's about the people that are here. You guys are making it worth it. So, all right. So yeah. So let's go with All right. You want me to show you like comic coloring, right? So let me think of what I can draw really fast so we can get to the coloring part. Any ideas for what we could draw to color? Something basic? You guys, I'll wait for you guys to comment back, and I'm going to sip my coffee, so if you don't mind. Coffee. So delicious. Draw a cap. Like a baseball cap? Alien or hot chick? Nice. All right, I'll just do an alien because I want to do something quick so I can hurry up and get to the coloring part. And God says me, draw me. All right, so let's see. Alien. Yeah, aliens can be quick and easy, so let's do that. I'll sketch out a little alien dude thing. Something like this. I hope you didn't mean like Alien from the movies Alien, because I don't know that I could draw them, but I'll just do this little like cartoon version of an alien. Oh, and I'm sorry, I forgot to give Logan the cigar. That was a alien hot Hot alien chick? Yeah, that would be fun. I don't want to get into something that'll take too long to draw. Or here, let's just do this then. Fine. I always feel bad saying no. Let's just do this. Alien hot chick. There, is that close enough? Sorry, there might be kids watching, so let me put some clothes on her. Because I don't run that kind of channel, you know? That's not me. I'm sorry, but that's just the way it is. She's got to be wearing some clothes. All right. Is that all right? Yeah, let's keep it classic. Let's keep it classy. And let's see, she has maybe some pointed ears. All right, so there's our alien. Give her some little freckles, make her look cuter, more cute.
Hi there.
Oh, what's up, buddy?
How do the ABC go?
I'm in the middle of a live stream, partner. You better go see Mama. How'd you get down here? All right, sorry everybody, I got a slight delay. My little boy just come down there to say hi. You want to say hi to everybody? You say hi? Hi. Say hello. You're live. Roman, your live stream. Hi. Applebee's?
BB banana.
Oh, BB banana.
CC cookie.
He's telling you guys how much he knows. You can already say his ABCs forward, backwards. He's a pretty smart little guy. All right, hold on. Dad has got to explain how to do this. You go see Mama, okay? All right, just give me 1 second. I got to get him back to his mom. I'll be. Yeah, say bye, everybody. Say bye-bye. I'll be right back. Oh, sorry about that, everybody. Goodness. Yeah, thank you. He's a handful. He just snuck downstairs while I was live streaming. Gotta love kids. All right, where were we? All right, so let me erase this a little bit and clean it up just a tad, and then we'll get to coloring it. Okay, so let me just get some basic line work in here so that we can throw some comic style coloring in here. Yeah, thanks. I love being a dad. It's you know how people always tell you like it's the most amazing thing, and you can't really relate, I guess, until you have one, and then yeah, it gives like new meaning to your life, and everything's so much more profound, and yeah, pretty cool. So I'm digging it. It can be a lot of work, but it's worth it. which he just got so ticked at me that that I took him upstairs, because normally he gets to sit here and draw with me. I don't kick him out or nothing like that. So he freaked out right when I got upstairs, like, no, what are you doing? You never do this. So I'm kind of interested to see, is he going to be an artist, which I believe he will. I think art in a lot of ways is hereditary. Not so much in the way where it's like DNA or something. I think it's more like just explained and taught at such a young level or young age, and then it sticks. Like my mom was an artist, and that's where I think I got it, and things like that. Yeah, kids are we all start there as children, and then we evolve into bigger children. Blackstone heroes aren't born, they're made. Nice. You obviously saw the cover to the book. I appreciate that comment there. So I'm trying to refine the line work just a little bit more. Like, since it's not going to be a painting, that's the one thing about comic coloring. You gotta have a little bit more defined line work, I think, to make the coloring work. So I'm trying to get that in there real fast here. Nice. Make him be an artist, right? Force him into it. Just make him an artist. He has to do 20 gestures and a color study for every meal. Yeah, I'm sure that would work. No, he's naturally already an artist. He loves sitting here and sketching on the computer with me. It's like, I think we're all artists, and then we just lose it, over time, or some people lose it or forget about it or whatever. And I can't remember who said that. Wasn't that Picasso? I think Picasso or somebody said that, and I truly believe that. Like, we are all artists as children, and the tough part is just retaining that. Okay, so we'll just use this pretty goofy line work that I've thrown in place, so I can show you the coloring process. Yeah, hey, Chief Amateur says I never had a father figure. Boo hoo. Yeah, I didn't either. So I never met my dad, and I'm not saying feel bad for me. It's just things happen. But my mom, did her best to take the place of both. Do both responsibilities, and then I had to, of course, buy her stuff on Father's Day to say that she did a good job. But but yeah, so it happens. All right, so let's. What I would do here, I could do the same thing with the selection. I guess I will, just because that's just to keep it on. You know what? I'll just paint it behind. So let's say that this alien's let's not go with green because it's so typical. Let's let's give her like a pink base. That'll be kind of fun. So the same kind of rule applies where you just start off with a solid base. So get that in there. Let's use the G pen. It's a little bit quicker. So, and in comics, like, it's always referred to as flats. And I think it's always easier if you just sit here and color everything solid first and segment all your work that way, and then go back through and detail it. It just seems to come out a lot better. Trying to read the comments here. Problem is with growing up, the teachers start to say, instead of encouraging the students' work, say no instead of encourage. Yeah, I think that what Cody's mentioned is like the teachers really start to tell you to veer off into other things. I think that's what you're getting at, and I definitely experienced that. Like, I wanted to be an artist from the very start, and a lot of teachers said, no, you're not going to make any money at that. I remember a lot of people in life growing up saying you're not going to make any money at that. You're going to struggle. You're not going to get a job. You're going to be broke your whole life if you want to be an artist. And I've never been the one to really be too concerned with what other people say in that regard, because I always thought like, oh, maybe your life experiences just weren't as vast as mine might be, or whatever. So I never really took that to heart too much, but it does scare you a bit when you're growing up and you want to be successful, you want to have things or whatever. You don't want to think that because you're pursuing your art that you're going to have to panhandle or something. Um, but what's funny is now looking back, I wish I could bump into those people. Um, my first endeavor was starting a business that was somewhat art related, and that went well. Um, and now with all the things that I've experienced and seen with a variety of art and artists and art styles, there's lots of ways to be successful and lucrative with art. I mean, yes, there's still some that probably struggle a bit here and there, and that's life in general. They might have other things that hold them back from being successful with art. But there's tons of great opportunities, especially in digital art now. It's amazing. Like I truly believe it's never been a better time to be an artist. Never. Um, it's just that there's so many ways to promote yourself and to get work out there that weren't present even 15 years ago or whatever. So that's probably why they were so quick to push us away from it, is that they thought that they had to. They thought they were looking out for us or something like that. Now let's see. Oh, thanks, Ray. Appreciate you stopping in. I'm glad you've learned a few things. I appreciate that. And Chief Anator says, yeah, I mean, I became a chef and started working long hours, and I started hating life. Yeah, and I've done a few jobs like that. I've worked with. I remember I was a shop worker type, because I'm from the Michigan area. There's a lot of shops, things like that. And I ended up doing a job where I sorted parts for a while. It was my last real job, put it that way. And I basically sorted parts. And just to explain this real quick, so we got the base color layer, and usually in comic coloring, you're just going to take, like, say, we're going to keep this real simple for everybody. I'm going to sample that color by holding Alt, clicking on it. I'm going to come over here to the color selector. I'll just pick a shadow color like this, and then I'm going to come back, and I'm just going to take the G pen, and I'm just going to what I call cell shading. So I'm just going to picture where I would see a shadow on the side of this character, and just like a big fat marker, I'm just going to kind of draw that in, and I'll work up from there. So yeah, so I got this job, and I was working long hours, long hours, lots of hours, and I made nothing, or not nothing, but obviously didn't work for nothing, but it was really weak. It was like $6 an hour or something, but I did lots of overtime, so I was making time and a half, almost to the point where I was getting more time and a half than regular hours. It was obsessively a long time, and but I was making money because I didn't have any time to spend it. So I was working day and night doing that job, and but same kind of thing. I was feeling very miserable, very like, man, this is all I do. It was one of them jobs where it was so loud I couldn't hear the person standing next to me. You had to wear earplugs, and I was sorting hot parts off a stamping machine, and it was very monotonous. And you guys are artists that are watching, so you know that monotony is one of the things that drives us insane. The one of the beautiful things about art is you're always doing something different, and that's probably the most attractive thing to me about art. So at any rate, I quickly wanted to get away from that job. I started talking to people. I remember a coworker of mine was like, I showed him my art and comics. I had already been drawing comics, actually had already been published and everything, and he goes, man, you got this great art. Why don't you work at this place called Michigan Window Tinting? And I was like, what? What's a Michigan window tinting? And why would it caught me off guard. I'm thinking, why would I want to work at a tint shop? I don't want to tint windows. I want to do artwork. No, they have this art department where they do graphics. And that was it. That's where I was like, I'm going to go for that. And I started going for that and applying for that job and trying. I finally got it. And I was happy because I was at least doing artwork. I was doing graphics, you know, signs, banners, truck lettering, but I was getting to incorporate my art into those little creations that I made for people. So I was a step closer to being a professional artist and not a guy that sorted parts for $6 an hour. So that's the part that, I would say just to, go for, like, even if it's something a step closer, go for it. Now, should I have probably just went all for drawing comics? Yeah, I mean, I wish I would have had the courage to just go just that direction, but I always took like a little bit of a foundation from, working a job that was at least art related, but at least wasn't as monotonous as, flipping burgers or doing whatever, because I've done it all at one point or another. Okay, so there's the shadow layer, and then I'll pick a little bit of a light source layer. And let's see, let's go back to the color wheel, and I'll pick more of a highlight layer. Now, something that I will do, even in, I know it's not, well, I guess it is more like comic coloring, but what I'll do is I'll take the highlight brush right here, set to highlight. Again, you can grab even just the lighter base color, it'll still work. And then I'll just glance across the front, punch up a quick light source like this. And then, I could do like the edge lighting, but what I'll do for the edge lighting, I don't want this to have as faded of an edge. So I'll just draw that in with this one, but then I'll go back to the G pen. I'll select kind of middle of the row here. And maybe a little lighter right there. And I'll just draw in the light source just a little bit with this. And I'll just really repeat this process. And then one of the things I'll do is, like, after I get a little bit of the light source, kind of like this, I'll go back and blend some of the edges. Because I try to get, Chief Anator says she's quite the looker for an alien. Well, I'll make sure, I'll make sure she gets a hold of you. But yeah, so I'll just kind of get in there, draw on the light source like this. And then after I get enough of this in place, I'll do some of that smudging of the edge there. So let me do like this. And I don't know that I'm the best one to give you guys advice on coloring, because I don't feel like I'm the most confident colorist. One of the people I always refer out for this type of stuff is Lumage. He's on my featured list, and he's got some pretty good videos for coloring comics. Yeah, thanks, Chief Anator. The neck looks like it's attaching to the back of the head. Yeah, I guess that is possible. I mean, she's an alien. Anything goes here. So I'll grab the blend tool now, and I'll just blend some of these edges off these highlights. So I don't like to leave like these big rounded blobs of that highlight color. I'll usually just blend off one side or something. So this is all preference, but that's just one of the ways I do it, just so it doesn't look too cell shaded or too plain, I guess. And then I can throw in another layer. We'll color a little bikini top there. What are we thinking? Let's do a yellow polka dot bikini. Oh, that's bright. That's some bright yellow there. And you guys chime in if you want me to head in another direction with this, or show you something else that I'm missing. That's kind of dull. I hate yellow. I just hate it. Never get the yellow I'm looking for. Right there. Yeah, that's close enough. And this is really all I do for anything, really. I'll just kind of repeat this process. And obviously the artwork would be a lot cleaner, and I'd be refining this more. I'm just kind of showing the process more than I am saying, hey, look, I can draw an alien with a yellow bikini top. But you know, that's kind of the process I would take. Let's see what else. Yeah, and also before we bring this to a close, because it's already an hour, you guys let me know what what we should do for like the next live stream. Just give me some general ideas, and I'll jot them down. I try to ask that every week so that next week going in we got some content ideas. So what would you guys like to see on next week's live stream? Thought about one too where I could do a drawing before the live stream, time lapse it, but I could time lapse it and we could talk about it throughout the live stream. Because it would make it easier where I could actually look at more of the questions. Because half the time I'm bouncing back and forth trying to draw and look back, and it's a little bit tricky to kind of juggle the effect or whatever. So I'll select this tone here, grab a little bit darker tone, place some of the shadows in there. Let's see, what can you see as the background for this character, and what do you other viewers see? Okay. I mean, to me, the background of this would be some kind of alien world. It'd be kind of funny to see, like, she looks like she's at the beach, so like an alien beach or an alien pool with some crazy wild slides that just look alien. Maybe some slides off alien plants or something like that. I think would be kind of funny. Is that what you're asking? Like, what am I envisioning, or what would I envision for the rest of the scene? Yeah, um, so maybe like a background. Hey, what's up, Seth? Man, we're getting ready to close this down. You just showed up. um, you just got out of work, probably, right? So yeah, so you think the next live stream should be on backgrounds? Is that what you guys are thinking? Landscapes would be good, or some ships. Okay, yeah, and I really do want to explain more what the perspective tools can do in Manga Studio here. So maybe we'll do that. So next week we'll work on some backgrounds or a background depending on how complex it is, and we'll get into the perspective tools more, and how you can really use those to make your backgrounds look sweet. That's shocking. Yeah, right. Maybe she did. Cody says the shocking look on her face makes me think she stumbled on a nude beach. Possibly. Possibly. So yeah, sorry, Seth. I know you try to make it to these things, and I gotta close it up though. And after an hour, it gets a bit long, and I gotta get up to the fam. So really sorry about that one. But let me take this time to say I appreciate everybody stopping in and watching and being part of these live streams. It really helps out. I appreciate the feedback that you give. Keep in mind that I do have a Patreon and a Gumroad to support the work that I do. Any and all support there is greatly appreciated. And also remember to comment on the section below after this video goes live and tell me what you think that we could have did to improve it, what we could have did to, for next week's lessons, things like that, so that we can continually make these things better. So yeah, I appreciate everybody here participating and dedicating your time to showing up. I greatly appreciate that. So, any last questions before I bring it to a halt? I think the one German's asking, should I buy the Wacom Companion 2 or the Intuos Pro? Oh no, I'm sorry. You're asking me if I'm using it. I'm using the Cintiq 22 on this. So yeah, so that's so basically on this live stream we came up with this and this. of all things. That's the and that's what the line works. You can see how much the artwork shifts when you go from that to that. And somehow he's missing the line to his shirt there, but so yeah, so all right, so that's about it. So thanks very much for watching. I appreciate everybody stopping by. Remember, keep drawing, keep having fun. I'll talk to you soon, and bye for now.